So basketball fans, welcome to the video. So the NBA resumed its season, and boy did the Houston Rockets have a banger of a game against the Dallas Mavericks. A high scoring game ending in an overtime thriller is exactly what we needed for the return of Rockets basketball. Never have I been so happy to watch the Rockets play again after having the NBA suspended for over 140 days. It was amazing just to watch. To watch what I saw this past Friday between the Rockets and Dallas was a breath of fresh air, and I am so happy that the NBA is back. But with that being said, let's deep dive right into this video and let's talk about what I liked and didn't like from the Rockets' first game back to resume the NBA season. Let's start by discussing what I didn't like about game one right here against the Mavericks. So first off, like I mentioned, there's a huge size difference, and one caveat of being a smaller team is that clearly you're going to get out rebounded by other teams with bigger players, right? And it's very important that there's some level of ability to being able to catch rebounds, because with that you'll give your team again, it's really obvious, you're going to give your team opportunities to grab offensive rebounds for second chance points, and also some defensive rebounds again on the other end to prevent the other team from grabbing their second chance points, right? So here we're gonna see some of these first clips that we're gonna see. Let's see if it goes. Yeah, so here we have Boban, right? And Boban is huge. Just look at how big this man is. He really doesn't need to jump or anything. All he has to do is just extend his arms, and he's literally at the rim. So when it comes to trying to stop Boban, and you can tell like they're trying to box him out, but they just can't. He's so damn huge. All he has to do is just extend his hands, and he's literally there. Here's another clip here. Luka, it wasn't a pass. This was a complete failure of a miss. It was so bad. This was such a bad shot, but he's so lucky that Boban was right there. He caught the ball, and then he just had to toss it in there. Here we go again. Luka to Boban connection right there in the paint. The smaller defenders, it took two of them. I believe that's Daniel House. That's Daniel House and Macklemore. Yep, they couldn't stop him. Boban is so huge. It's ridiculous. Again, the size difference between the Houston defenders and some of these other players. So it gets very difficult when you have a center the size of PJ Tucker trying to defend players like Boban, or even right here we have Kristaps Porzingis right here, and again they just dominate. They're dominating them in the paint because of the size difference. It's very hard to defend them, and it's very hard to go out and get some rebounds when you have players of this stature just standing around. So here you see again KP being defended by PJ, and then PJ drawing the foul on him. So it's very difficult. So this is one of the things that I see, that sometimes teams wake up to the fact that they can't defend defend in the post that well against some of the taller players, and it gets ridiculous once they start killing the Rockets from that angle. It's hard. It is very hard. Another thing that I noticed again too with the Rockets, besides having difficulty grabbing their rebounds or defending taller players like KP and Boban, is that there were a lot of defensive breakdowns that allowed for a lot of easy points on the Maverick side of things. So there were a lot of issues. Well, I don't want to say like there was an abundance of issues, but it's something that stuck out to me. I'm like, man, they fucked up right here, right? So there was a lot of issues with the Rockets getting into position on time on some fast breaks that the Mavericks engaged on. There were also a few communication errors on the part of the defenders near the paint. So here, this first clip that we're going to look at, it's off a steal, so we already have a fast break, and at this point it was only Harden, I believe Harden and Covington that were in the paint while everyone else was catching up, and by then they allowed number 32 to get a wide open look for a three. And that they torched them from three. Mavericks torched the Rockets from three, which was ridiculous. Again, just to show that the Dallas Mavericks again is one of the elite offensive teams that's in the league right now. So here in this second clip, we have them in transition. For some reason, I don't understand this right here. Why? So we have all of the Rockets team, all of the Rockets players on this side, and for some reason we have James Harden guarding his man, but for some reason Jeff Green also gravitates to him, and what I guess he didn't notice, or I guess he thought he had additional time, KP is lagging behind, and here we go. KP grabs that ball, he's wide open. Jeff Green is way too far to close out in time, and surprisingly enough, KP is a sniper. It is ridiculous how good KP is from range, and how the Mavericks are using him. And I know Carlisle has gotten some criticism on using them in the perimeter rather than, getting them in the paint. But I mean, if it's working for them, Jesus, man, good for them, man, because KP is a sniper, man. Here we have another clip. Dallas had a lot of ball movement. They're spreading the floor. I mean, here in this clip, I don't understand. I'm on the wrong. Yeah, I don't understand why they left 32 open. As the Austin Rivers is in the paint. That is a lot of floor space between Austin Rivers and number 32. I just don't understand why he was that far off. Left him wide open for the easy three. You have Daniel House trying to close out, but again, he was so far, there was no way he was going to catch that. And here again, more ball movement on behalf of the Mavericks. Russell Westbrook tried to close out, but again, it left them enough time to shoot that three. Here we have again KP from distance. It's bad switch, man. I think it's a bad switch. And right here, this is interesting right here, because we have Macklemore right here on Luka, and Luka goes, and then the switch was for Harden, right? So it seems that right here Harden thought that Macklemore was still on Luka, and we didn't see the help come in from Daniel House on the other side, which left Luka wide open for the dunk. And even Harden's like, dude, what the fuck, dude, are you serious? No one shifted, so there was absolutely no help on that end, and it just gave Luka a wide open dunk. Which is ridiculous. So like I said, man, there was some defensive breakdowns on behalf of the Rockets. I think for the most part, defensively, they did pretty well, which I'm gonna get into later on in this video. But still, it's some of these things. It's just like, come on, guys. And I can't say I'm no professional, right? But like, as a fan, you're like, okay, man, you would think they'd be on the same page on some of these things. But sometimes, I mean, mistakes happen. Hopefully, they can review this during review the tape, and try to capitalize on this and improve on these breakdowns, so it doesn't happen more often in the future. So so there are clearly, again, there is no such thing as a perfect team, right? So clearly there are still some things that the Rocket squad need to polish in order to get better on the defensive end, like I mentioned. But I am very hopeful that they'll be able to figure out, as the Mike D'Antoni. He is, at first, I was really hating on the man just because of how he ran his offense. But I think at this point, they have the right pieces they need to run the offense that he likes to operate. And like I mentioned it before, if the Rockets are able to, get into rhythm and be consistent with their shooting and how they drive and all of that, I believe this team, this is definitely a dark horse team right here for the playoffs that could most definitely upset any of the LA teams and take it all, man. I am hoping. Very big fan of the Rockets. They are my home team, so of course I'm gonna say that, right? So yeah.